Hello, everyone. I'm Colin Test of WrestleZone.com, joined by the majority of Shane Taylor Promotions. I've got Ron Hunt, O'Shea Edwards, and the man himself, Shane Taylor. Guys, how you doing today?
Can't complain, man.
Not bad. How about yourself?
Not bad, not bad. Of
Always
course,
good, man. Always good.
always good. Very glad to hear it. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. You guys, Shane and O'Shea, have a big match coming up at GCW for the Culture, part of the Collective on April 1st, the weekend, but that show is on April 1st. You guys are facing the HitMakers, formerly known as Hit Row, a match that I think in a lot of ways is kind of a dream match of sorts between two dominant stables, or if not dominant, two fan favorite stables that were very impressive in different ways. So I guess right off the bat, what does it mean to kind of have that match at a show like For the Culture? I mean, obviously, I know that we've talked in other interviews with you guys before. It's something representation, and really fighting for Black excellence is something you guys are very passionate about. For the Culture is definitely a show all about that. So it feels like a really fitting time to have that match.
Yeah, man. Like, this is something that it was kind of one of those fantasy booking type things that's kind of gone around in the circles in terms of like Twitter and all that good stuff. But the thing about wrestling is always dynamic. So you never know what you're going to get when you're going to get it. But you just got to be ready for it when it shows up. So, for us, this wasn't anything like new. It's just an opportunity for us to go out there and show that, regardless of the stage that we're on, we produce at a high level, regardless of who we're across the ring from. So, like, I can't speak for the guys we will be across from, but as for me and mine, like, we come to tear it down because it's all we know how to do.
And to follow up at that point, I mean, it's basically what he's saying, right? Like, when they're in the Fed, this was seen as more of what could be, right? And the funny thing about wrestling, especially in today's day and age, is it's so fluid now, right? So matches that we never thought we would see 5 years ago, 10 years ago, are all of a sudden right in front of us. And that's what this was. This is, one of the hottest up and coming stables in what was formerly known as Hit Row, versus one of the most dominant and up and coming stables in professional wrestling, which is STP. You have someone the caliber of a AJ Francis, who is a former NFL player. His accolades there, unquestioned. He's been able to transition into music, transition into wrestling, do TV. The guy is super talented. And Tehuti as well. I forget what is, my bad. I apologize. It is what it is. But he's a talent as well. Speed, agility, charisma, looks like an R&B guy. You know what I mean? He's got star power written all over him, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see how that clashes with what we do inside the ring, because with O'Shea and myself, like he said, we're not coming for anything less than to absolutely steal the show and put on a performance that people, aren't just going to be talking about at every For the Culture, but every event that we're on, everything that we do, people are going to remember this match. People are going to remember this performance. And it's just the start of our week. Because for me, I plan on making this entire Mania week, STP week, STP Mania week. Everybody, I want to make sure that the name on everybody's mouth is STP, that they're talking about Ron Hunt, that they're talking about O'Shea, that they're talking about Khan, that they're talking about Moses. And, in the words of LeBron James, I want my damn respect too, because they're going to be talking about me too. I don't care who's on what stage, who has what match, who's defending what belt. I don't give a shit. As far as I'm concerned, you are going to be in second, third, fourth, fifth place, no matter what your performance is like at the end of this week.
You mentioned this being a match that's kind of like, it was like a what could be. And I know it's kind of tough to like frame it right now, because like we saw what Hit Row was in WWE. We don't exactly know what the HitMakers are kind of going for right now. This is, I think, as far as I can recall, one of their first real big matches on a stage like this. But at least maybe in a more general sense, what do you think are some of the similarities or differences between the two groups? We can kind of go around the bend because you mentioned two very impressive and remarkable stables in their own right.
I think for me, they represent exactly what they were there. Obviously, you take away talent like Swerve. You know what I mean? He added his own dynamic to the group, but you're also still looking at the majority of the group. BFAB is going to be there as well. So I think we can expect exactly what we were getting from them, you know, in their Fed run. Obviously, they're going to have to change things up a bit. They're going to have to change strategies. You're going into a fight without, you know, you're going to have to retool your arsenal to make sure that you're a little bit more in sync with your current partners as you would other ones, right? For example, we're in the same boat, right? Because me and O'Shea have only teamed a couple times, right? So we're going into this with the exact same playing field. The problem is, I believe that, well, the problem for them, not for us, is that I believe the chemistry that we have and who we are is going to mesh better on that day than what they are going to bring. I believe our strategy will be better. The game plan will be better. We're going to execute better. And they're going to get to say that they were a part of history with us. You know what I mean? Not the other way around.
I mean, Shane absolutely nailed. I'm not gonna be as nice about it. I'm not gonna be. I don't care. Like while let's be real, like everybody knows who they are. You guys were on the biggest show in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody knows who you are. But never in my life have I seen everybody know who you are and then you're still the underdog. They have to produce. They have to produce. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. Those cats were made. Those cats were made, man. They are a, and they get mad at me want to. I don't care. Say something about it. They were constructed. They were put together. You know what I'm saying? And it just so happened to work. But we're different. We were built different. Regardless of where we go, man, we roll together because we're genuine. We're the genuine article. They have to produce. You know why? Because this ain't nothing new to us. We're used to being overlooked. We're used to be underestimated. Like this ain't nothing new. We're used to, you know, being put on a I guess a second like a second marquee. So, oh, it's the HitMakerZ. Like, okay, and like who they beat? You know, like who they have to beat? You know, and that's how I see it. I'm like, no, you got to prove yourself to me, Holmes. This ain't the Fed. This ain't the Fed. Nobody's going to give you this. Okay, guys, we gonna do this, and this. Like, hey, man, hey, knuckle up. We coming at you because for us, it's the only thing that they haven't ever got a chance to experience with somebody showing up in their face, punching them right in the mouth. And that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna punch him in the mouth. I'm gonna be like, hey, home, understand something. This is mine. You're back at you're on our turf now. You know what I'm saying? Like everything you get here, you just don't get it. Nah, man, you gotta earn this one. You're gonna earn this ass whooping. You could drop bars all you want to. We drop hits, and not the platinum kind, the ones you gotta go to the hospital for. You know, so for me, I'm like, it's all fun and games, man. We can roll it up and hug afterwards. But when that bell rings, no, man, I'm coming to knock your head off your shoulders. It's the only way I get paid.
I think one of the most significant sayings is everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And we just want this to be known that this isn't going to be an enhancement match. This isn't going to be people that are honored to jump into the ring with you because of what your name is. These are people that genuinely believe what we believe because we are who we are and who we believe. And I think that registers with the people. That's why we say we are for the people. You know, people understand what is genuine, just like O'Shea said, and just like Shane said. To take one of what O'Shea said a little bit further, this isn't the Feds. We're not coming in and say, thank you, thank you for the opportunity. No, this is just another Monday to us. It's just another Thursday, just another Friday, just another Saturday. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that I feel these two gentlemen are not prepared for when it comes to that fight on Friday, when that show kicks off at 3 p.m. in Dallas, Texas. And the way that I look at it is I really feel like where the edge is, while STP has been doing what they have been doing, rather you look at the history behind the ROH World TV title, look at the history definitely behind the Ring of Honor World Six-Man titles. We've also been willingly fighting that in the trenches on the independent scenes and in these other areas just to keep the blood flowing, just because we like punching people in the face. Meanwhile, they have been handicapped to a certain form that they only had to perform just in, quote, the NFL-ish of wrestling level. We've been performing at the NFL level, and as well as saying we're going to take our championship to the NCAA level, and we're going to keep doing what we do there. And so that's where I feel like Shane, and that's where I feel like O'Shea is really going to have the edge in. But at the same time, it's also going to be a mentality thing. I don't feel like they are going to they have stepped into the ring with anyone that has not only match them eye to eye, but is also going to catch them off guard in multiple facets. And the question is, are you going to be able to readjust, and not only readjust, but stay on your A game and finish the job? When it comes down to it, I personally, out of all respect, I don't feel like they will be. And I feel like the two hands that's going to be raised at the end of that's going to be O'Shea and Shane on Friday.
There's a quote that my father used to tell me before any wrestling event, before any football game. Your opponent's reputation shouldn't mean shit to you because they haven't proved it to you yet, right? So just like O'Shea was saying, just like Ron is saying, the Hitmakers are going to have to come into that match and prove to us that they are who they say they are, you know, and the difference between the two of them, the difference between us, just like O'Shea was saying, is they drop bars. We drop bodies. We're not the same. But we will gladly reintroduce ourselves come that match.
It's one I'm very much looking forward to, and you know, for at least for me, it's one like we watched you guys in Ring of Honor. It's the first time I've gotten to really see you guys really since then. And obviously, speaking of Ring of Honor, there's lots to dig into there. We last spoke right before Final Battle. At that point, we knew that the company would be going on hiatus, but another big development, obviously, just a couple weeks ago, and part of the reason I reached out to you guys so soon was that live on Dynamite, Tony Khan, AEW president, announced that he had acquired Ring of Honor, and on Twitter, many people instantly, probably more than anybody else that I saw, were instantly kind of rallying around you guys, Change Tower Promotions, because a lot of people really respected your work and became fans of your work throughout Ring of Honor. And admittedly, we talked about it, I think, during our last interview, that maybe some sense of a dropped ball or a missed opportunity to fully maximize you guys. So now this renewed hope to really potentially, if the opportunity arises, you know, to kind of, I guess, right that wrong in a way. So I guess first off, as Shane especially, but all of you guys have been tied to Ring of Honor in some capacity for varying periods of time. What are your thoughts on that general change? Because it's a big development.
There's a lot of mixed feelings about it, you know what I mean? But honestly, no matter what anybody feels or thinks, you know, I enjoyed my time in ROH, and I pursued everything that I wanted to do with such vigor because I believed in what ROH could be. I believed in the potential that it had. I believed in when you put people in the right positions to be successful with a roster like that, there was nothing that we couldn't do as a company. Whether or not that was well received by some, who knows, right? But that was always the goal, to present the best product possible and put the talent that is willing to ride for those letters in positions to be successful to help the company grow. With the development of it being sold, that's business. You know, none of the wrestling contracts were a part of that from the best of my knowledge. They got everything they needed to get with the library and all of the stuff that they need to continue to make money off of that name. They've got a lot of guys that used to be there that I'm sure come a rebranding, they can plug and play. And I'm sure there'll be some great stuff there. But, we're still here, right? We've said this is where the competition is. We bring that. We bring a realism and a believability to this sport that is rare. There's plenty of talent there to create years of business and story and all kind of stuff. The question is not if we think we can compete, because we know we can. The question is not if we want to do it, because we know we do. The question is, do people have the balls enough to let that happen? Do they really want to put us on that stage and make everybody else compete with us? Because we're going to raise the level of competition. We are going to force you out of your bubble. We are going to force you out of your comfort zone. We are going to force you to do things you don't normally do. We are going to force you to be in situations that you don't necessarily know how to get out of. And is that what you're ready for? Because if it's not, then you can continue to act like you don't see everybody talking about STP. And for the companies that do accept that challenge, for the rosters that do accept that challenge, for those who really want to go out and put on matches that everybody is going to be talking about for years, put on stories that people are going to remember, and challenge themselves to be better and bring a higher level of their game to the forefront, all you got to do is say the word. Everything else is just noise to us, because you're either going to be about it or you're going to keep making excuses. We're going to continue to do what we do. We're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to put all the effort in that we should. That's all we know, right? And somewhere someone will pull the trigger on that, and we're going to make them a lot of cash. So it's just really, who wants to take that next step.
I can't say that any better than that, man. That's spot on. Once again, I was like, I'm not going to be as nice about it, but
Ron, we were talking a little earlier just about, and I mentioned it just now, but the sense of like, at least for me as a fan, like there are ways I could kind of see there's a lot more I want to see. Not trying to point fingers. So I just feel like there's a way the group could really maximize. I was talking to you earlier about how there's some natural kind of comparisons with like the Hurt Business in WWE, like with you as kind of a manager. And we never really got to see that. Now, of course, the pandemic being a factor in that. But, I guess trying to put a positive spin on it, do you take that sense of maybe you didn't get to fully explore what you could do as a collective group and kind of use that as a motive or as an incentive moving forward for it to change or to innovate in some way?
I mean, definitely.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, boss.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah. One thing that I always tell the guys is, what happened in ROH is there. We leave it there, right? We were able to build something organic and that was so just genuine. And we did that based off the strength of us and the people. If people can be mad if they want, but they can go back and look at how things were promoted, how they were used. And they can see there was not the same level of effort in promoting us as there were other groups. And that wasn't by accident. You know what I mean? Like that's not something that just slipped folks' mind, right? That was done with an intention. The problem is it didn't matter what their intentions were. People still let their minds, hearts, and voices be heard. And that is that they were rocking with us. That, I'm sure, coupled with the fact that they didn't want to do it in the first place, made a lot of people upset, because despite their best efforts, here we are. So the opportunity to be able to do that elsewhere is something that we look forward to. We're obviously going to continue to build off of the momentum, but we understand walking into a new place, it's a new experience. We can't base a new game off of old film, right? So we're going to have to be able to go in and adapt and evaluate our surroundings and continue to push and figure out a way to garner the same momentum and the same success that we did. I have no doubt in our ability to do that because, again, I know the passion, the effort, and the work that we put in every single day. So I am looking forward to the challenge as well as I'm sure everybody else is. And I'm looking forward to being able to look around and say, I fucking told you so at the end of the day as well.
Do you think that I did that, Ron? I know you're going to say something. So
no, yeah, I think it's just spot on. You know, we've never been a group that's been a woe is me. We've been a group that's always been able to adjust and still keep the train moving forward. You know, I think we're past the days of, you know, missing a 3-pointer, smacking our hands and you know, sulking. No, we put the full court press on and we keep it moving, and we're going to put the pressure on there even further. And so the easiest way that I could put this is, if you see how STP as a whole, whether you look at individual wrestlers as a unit, has grown to the power and the magnitude that it's been with the minimal amount of effort compared to some of our other counterparts, and you've still seen the national success of STP and how STP is still relevant and powerful on the tongue of the fans, and how it still brought revenue in. Imagine what it would be like with someone actually saying, okay, let's just take your word and let us do what we've been doing since day one. And that's proving the haters and the naysayers wrong. And it's just that simple. So, just as Shane said, you know, we're not going to sulk about it. We're going to keep the train moving. We're going to keep doing what we do. And at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. You know, my football coach always said, show me, don't tell me. We're the type that we show you and then we tell you. And I think that's why people get annoyed about it. We don't tell you and then we don't back it up. No, we show you and then we'll tell you to our face that we showed you. So we're just going to keep the train moving.
And we definitely look forward to seeing that at GCW for the Culture on April 1st. Again, a big match against the Hitmakers here. We'll definitely have to do this again at some point soon to talk about, you know, your guys' goals in the future. I'm sure we could spend another hour talking about that. But just maybe in closing here, maybe in a more short-term sense. I mean, Ron, I think you had mentioned earlier, and maybe with Shane as well, you guys have some exciting stuff coming up beyond the GCW show. So do you want to touch on that for a minute?
Go ahead, Shane.
It's been announced that at VIP, this is right after Mania, it will be myself defending the VIP World Heavyweight Championship against Low-Key, Ring of Honor original, one of the scariest, one of the toughest individuals that our sport has seen. You know, in the glory days of ROH, when people love to focus on, you know, his name rang almost louder than anybody's. So in a week where people are fighting for, you know, championships, you know, I feel like it's been lost as to what the battle for that championship really means, right? Or what it's supposed to mean, right? This isn't who's the best political ass kisser. This isn't who is going to be our best fit to schmooze with some other company. This should be two of the baddest dudes going at it to see who the man really is and who's supposed to be, you know, the leader of that locker room. And I don't think that's the match that you're going to get on the first. But what will happen, that'll be the match that you get when I step in the ring with Low-Key. You're going to see the baddest of his era versus the baddest of mine, and who really the man is, you know? And so for me, that's going to be on top of For the Culture, on top of us performing and absolutely tearing the house down there. There's some other matches that I have as well, but I'm going to cap off the week by beating Low-Key's ass and proving that not only would I have dominated that era, but I would have dominated mine even more if put in the right spot. That's why that baddest of all time moniker exists. It's not the baddest of right now. It's not the baddest for the time being. It's the baddest of all time. And so I'm looking forward to that level of competition, to everything that he's going to bring, his wealth of experience, And when I drop him on his head, there's going to be no excuse as to who the baddest of all time really is.
Well, that said, we can look forward to that. And you mentioned the low key match, GCW, all that and more. Any kind of parting words? Or you guys want to plug your socials before we get out of here?
Hit them socials, boys.
Yeah, on Instagram, it's Big Bat Kaiju, period after every word. On Twitter, it's Big Bat Kaiju. TikTok, Big Bat Kaiju. Just come on, man. Twitter makes the world go round, apparently. So let's do that.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, everything at the Rev Ron Hunt. Also, make sure you're following everyone's YouTube channels as well. We see some individual matches that they're throwing up, including on O'Shea's YouTube channel, and so on and so forth. Or you just go in there and type in Shane Taylor Promotion. You see everybody killing it. But that's on my social media right there.
At Twitter and Instagram at Shane216 Taylor. If you're in the merch buying mood, all the links to the merchandise stores are right there in the bio. Go ahead and click those. We got everything from hats and jackets all the way down to baby onesies. We got you covered with anything you need. We appreciate, the support for not only STP for the last 2 years. I appreciate the support that I've had, over this crazy 14-year run that I've had so far. And we are going to make sure that Mania Week is something special. And if you didn't have your eyes on us before, if you weren't paying attention before, if somehow you just happened to miss all of this before, I guarantee you after that week, you're going to be paying attention.
That said, because they have a better way to close it. So I wish you guys the very, very best at For the Culture. Shane, with your match low key and everything beyond. Thanks for taking the time today, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Thanks, man.